Welcome back to another episode of Knicks Morning Coffee. I'm Mr. King. Y'all know my partner Joe Cool.
What's up?
Sometimes I say host. I don't know.
That's how frustrated you.
I know. Anyway, today we might be a little bit all over the place for the short time we'll be on today because since we talked last, they had 3 games, maybe 4, but they had 3. We played Milwaukee, Philly, and then Boston last night. So those are 3 good tests that the Knicks had in a week in this short season. And if we just glance over the Milwaukee game real quick, you know, we had a chance to win that game. You know, Giannis went crazy at the end.
Yeah.
And on defense, when he was going downhill, now he's going to get his because he takes that many shots. But we was building that kind of wall to try to be able to stop, you know, to stop him from just like getting everything he wanted. And it was at the end of the game where that broke down. So I don't know what the Knicks got to clean up in them type of situations. But, you know, something got to give. And then to go real quick to the Philly game that we won, and we should have won without Embiid and Harden, right? But then they gave us a hard time that we had to fight our way back into. So, you know, it's just certain things about the Knicks that if we don't fix them soon, we're going to be in a whole lot of trouble. A whole lot of trouble. So let's go to last night's game. One thing I'll say this, never say never. You know, because Tibbs, you know, he said Fournier will be my starter. But you see how fast now he already changed it up a little bit. Now, granted, it might be temporary, but his thing was, no, Fournier's my starter, and that's what we're going to do. And then he said he won't play Julius and Obi together. Now, be it injury, you see he pulled back on that. And then even the thing with, you know, with holding everybody accountable, I don't think he's really following up on his word of holding everybody accountable because of the way that he said they was really going to come out and play and establish their game plan. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a believer, and y'all know this from watching the show. Numbers lie sometimes. You know what I mean? For granted, like last night, RJ can score like what, 20-something points, 26 or 28 or something like that, and the amount of rebounds quickly may get. Them numbers lie because it doesn't do the impact.
Yeah.
So like, Cam Reddish's defense outshines the numbers that he actually has.
Yeah.
But sometimes these numbers lie, and I think that's what they do when they're going back into practice or they're looking at tape. I think they're really just looking at numbers. This is probably why they're not getting accountability. Because you'll look at the game and they'll say, oh, the numbers, oh, we scoring 117 points a game, but we giving up 100 and so. What's the impact that you're having on the court?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. You get the regular play, the so-called star players all getting over 20, but it's not an impact 20. You know, Brunson's was okay. Because that lead me to something I was thinking about yesterday. Our steady players versus our intangible players. And this is where sometimes I think things get lost. Because our steady players, you know, Randall, RJ and JB, and then our intangible players are Obi, Reddish, and IQ. So they the ones that can always give you something as a starter. But sometimes I think with Tibbs has to solidify the roles that the star players carry the bulk of the load, right? And then our intangible players, who we sometimes want to see be the star player, you know, let them fill in all the gaps. And then we get in that, kind of like last night, it just so happened that our star players got the points, but it was our intangible players that did the things that kept us in the game. And Tibbs, to me, he has to find a way to define everybody's role. Now, our big guys get it because we lead the league in offensive rebounding, and that's because Mitch and Hartenstein and Hartenstein, and even to a degree Randall, they attacking the offensive glass because you know when somebody's driving and shooting, you know, you're trying to put yourself in that position. But as a whole team, I don't think we got the roll down as a whole team because you talked about last week with Jordan Poole, and Jordan Poole he's like the 3rd, 4th option on his team, but he knows that his whole team know that. So he can come out and be that kind of star in that 3rd, 4th option role. And we don't necessarily got that.
They're necessarily playing to your strength.
Yeah.
So last night you can notice that Julius and RJ and let's just say Brunson, they played to their strength. Brunson attacked the basket, did his quick post moves like a guard would do, and was good at it. RJ go to the basket, muscle his man sometimes, offensive foul or whatever, but that's what he did. Randall gets the ball, muscles his way through, tries to dunk it. He's not trying to sit there and do a layup and flop. No, he's actually trying to put the ball in the basket. They play to their strength, and then all of a sudden it breaks down. Like, I don't know what happens. It's like they stop doing it and they defer to something else. Because
we're not committed. We're not committed to. See, two things to me with that. One, we're not committed to the game plan, which is supposed to have been something that we're supposed to get better at this year. And then two, even when the individual players, those three in particular, are doing their thing, the movement that we had the first 3-4 games, that movement on the opposite side of the ball stops. So now when you see Randall and RJ, even Brunson, when you seen them setting their man up and they go into the hole, which is fine, there's no movement for the weak side cutters anymore.
But it's funny because I don't know if the players watch, all the Knicks YouTube channels, but I think it's like backfiring on us. It's like when we ask somebody to come down court and maneuver the offensive point, it's like, why do you have to come down and do that every time if y'all know what y'all supposed to be doing? Like, why does Quickly have to come down and point to your spot? Hell, why does Fournier got to come down and tell you where to go to run a play or to come do a screen? That should be automatic. So I don't know why everybody on the team feels like when they come, even Hartenstein, he gets the ball, he has to point to tell you where to go. Why you got to do that?
Sometimes I think some players do that. I think, and that's natural because Magic Johnson them did all of that.
But Magic Johnson ran the offense.
Yeah, but him and Isaiah Thomason, they would also direct you where to go. Guy, I'm just picturing Gary. I'm picturing people who did that.
You said the point. You named a point guard that did that.
Yeah.
Not the whole damn team.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're doing it for Reddish and some people don't know all the plays. No, that's a shame that it has to happen all the time. But a coach will quickly to tell you, call for that screen. A lot of times they calling for that high pick and roll. People call for it. When Mitch is out there, you don't got to tell him. He's automatically, if you don't go, Mitch is automatically going to run and set
the screen. Crazy. There was a play that I think like Brunson threw the ball to Hartenstein in the paint. When he threw the ball to Hartenstein in the paint, it was the off-ball movement. Randall comes down from the three and cuts to the basket, and Hartenstein gives him the easy pass. Like, why is that not like an easy thing that you just do? And they said it. They said, look, the ball moves faster when you just stand there and just throw it.
Yeah.
So, like, why everything is like a one-on-one screen?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. We're not committed to, if we're going to run, we're not committing to the run. Because we saw the situation last night when, I think it was, who was it? RJ or somebody threw it out to Reddish. Derrick Rose. And Derrick blamed himself, but Reddish was ahead of the pack, but he wasn't running towards the basket. And Derrick just anticipated, everybody wants a dunk, right, in fast break, so he anticipated him being there. And the pass is always wrong, but in that scenario, Reddish was wrong. Because in Derrick's mind, okay, we're establishing that we're running. So let's go. Get the ball, look up, that person has to be there. Like Obi gets it. There's no more running to the three-point line first.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it, but I said, how much is somebody going to run? And they're not even looking.
Well, again,
on pick and roll situations, on cutting to the basket situations, we just letting players go through. And it's like we thinking about it and we're not acting on it.
Yeah, well, that leads me to another question then. Do the good outweigh the bad? Meaning in terms of our upside, the way we playing. Are we closer to being a better team, or are we closer to being mediocre? And right now we 500 or less, so we mediocre.
No, I think we mediocre until something changes because we not hitting.
And see, I think we closer to being a better team because I look at when we run, and you look at some of the, if you just look at the names, because everybody got people that's injured, when we playing them, just like we have people injured. But if you look at the names on the front of the jersey, we play some good teams. And when we run, we look better than those teams.
Yeah.
We look way better than them teams when we running and we out there playing, I ain't going to say free basketball because fast break is supposed to be, something that's like dynamic in your mind. But when we doing that, it seems like nobody can stop us. Because we're a good rebounding team, we get that ball off and we advance the ball. Our problem is that we don't keep doing it. That's our problem. So again, that could be fixed by everybody really buying into the run. All 5 players. And then the other side is when the ball is in the half court, and sometimes your star players have to go one-on-one. That's just the nature of how things are. Then the other side's got to be weak side movement going on at the same time. So those are 2 things right there that if we can fix, you can't fix everything,
it's not
but those are in our control.
But turnovers, R.J. Barrett.
Well, let's go back for a second now. See, those 2 things, those are in our control. So you can't fix everything right away, but those are in our control. Those type of things right there. And then the same thing with that could alleviate the turnovers. When they're going one-on-one and when there's no movement, you can't in your mind be expecting somebody going to pop open. Like you should already see the movement while you're going through your motions, setting your man up. You should already be seeing that weak side movement or underneath movement. So when you start your play, you don't got to assume, I'm going to throw it to this guy. I'm assuming he's moving. Not RJ throwing it to Hartenstein between 2 people when, why?
And that's not even his game.
No, it's not. RJ's a good passer, but you're not a thread the needle type of a guy.
I know, but at what point do they get the ESP? Because y'all been together all summer. It's not like y'all a brand new team. Y'all the same team. And you know, for granted, it's biting us in the butt. Because we all said that these young boys playing, they playing.
Yeah, they playing, but
they playing. So now we just got to go through the process of learning. So I always ask myself, am I panicking too soon? As Knicks fans, are we panicking too soon? But the numbers look good, but they still alive. We did play Jason Tatum and what's it, Brown?
Yeah, they didn't do nothing special. Hit 3. I mean, I didn't think they would keep hitting 3s.
Yeah, but that's the second team that did that on us.
Nobody did that one though. Nobody. They was hot from start to finish though. That don't even happen in the NBA.
How they even get in that
Golden State? If you go, I don't care if he's open. Even if you're open, teams. Steph Curry don't even do that. Teams don't. Once in a while, like Fournier did last year. 2 occasions last year where he was hitting 3s from start to finish. But even as a team, individual players and teams don't stay hot. Even if you're wide open, you come out blazing with the 3s. You already know the other team's going to get back in.
A lot of it, I was saying in my head, like, there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing. But now, is it something about the rotation or the defensive scheme?
No.
Is it something about...
No, that was laziness of our players. They didn't do nothing special. The ball wasn't moving. They was hitting 3s. They was just getting it, take 2 dribbles,
a couple of times I
shoot
said, Jason Tatum normally wouldn't even take this shot. You got to force him to the basket.
That could have been the game plan because they never did. The game plan could have been let them shoot. Because nobody stays hot. They stayed hot. But that will happen maybe 5 or 6 times in a whole season, all the teams combined. Teams don't stay hot. And teams don't stay cold.
So now is it like a luck of the draw kind of thing?
That was the luck of the draw. That was,
like preseason, we was hot. We hitting everything. We said,
no, I'm talking about for a whole game.
Yeah, I'm talking,
Yeah, nobody's hot for a whole game.
It don't look like we hot at all.
I mean, somebody hit here, somebody hit there. No, we're not shooting it.
Like it's not like a flow of the game.
Because we're not taking real shots.
The passion is not there. I mean, you said does the good outweigh the bad? No.
Well, one thing I wrote down as far as when we was talking about our strength in offensive rebounding, and I say it's part because we're not taking the right shots, and part because some guys, the big guys, understanding where the misses might come. But we're not taking the right shots, and we see that was evident yesterday. And then you add not taking the right shots to guys missing wide open 3s, wide open uncontested 3s, and then it just killed me that guy Hauser, if that's his name, on Boston, he knew what his role was yesterday, and I don't remember if he started or not. Just come in knocking down 3s. Don't put the ball on the floor. Don't look at nobody else. Get there, and that's what he did, time after time after time after time. And then there was one point when Fournier was guarding him. He wasn't knocking down 3s then, but I was hoping he was, so that Fournier could see, this is me right here. Let me come in and give us that edge.
Dropped 40-something because you didn't put the ball on the floor. You just shot it.
Yeah, he just went to,
I made a suggestion to you last night. I said, now, this is the point where Melo's not on the team. Do you call him Melo just to shoot? Because all we need you to do, we don't need you to put the ball on the floor. I think he'll understand that he's coming off the bench. He did it. Remember, he said it. He said, any team, I'll just do what they ask me to do. If I tell you come in and do Fournier's role and just shoot. Come off the bench after Reddish.
But he didn't do that with the Lakers, though.
I mean, the Lakers had a different role, though.
Yeah, he waved people off. I mean, my answer yesterday was I would not oppose bringing back Melo unless this was his farewell tour. You know what I mean? Like, if he's going out, it'd be nice to retire Nick, but you can come back one day and retire Nick. But to come in and take away, if he was really just going to come in and hit the threes, okay, fine. But we know that's not going to happen. That's not going to. And not to say we couldn't use Melo on the post, sometime. He's losing his post skills, but he still could command a double team from the post and kick it back out. So I don't know if that one. The answer is a guy like the one Hauser last night. The one key element that we say we keep missing is the three-point sniper. And then, too, Reddish, as great as he can drive, to me, Reddish has to come in and establish that. He has to come in and establish knocking down those threes. Okay, we know it's easy to get to the hole.
Yeah, I still only give Reddish the benefit of the doubt because one day you may be getting 15 minutes, the next day you get 10 minutes. They take you out when you hot. You come down, you play good defense. They finally feed you. You get a dunk off or a layup off. And then right when you get that layup, it's like perfect time in terms of taking you out the game.
That's fair for him right now, though.
I'm talking about, yeah, but then how you get going?
Shoot the ball. No, I'm not knocking that part. Reddish getting, like last night, Reddish getting a lot of time.
Well, tonight he got a lot of time, and the time was actually better than Fournier's and Grimes' time.
We need his shooting more than we need his drives to the basket. I'm just saying what we know what he's capable of, but he's known as a shooter first. And that's what we're missing. We're not missing all your drives to the basket. It helps. It looks good, except when you're throwing it up. But if you come in and establish knocking those, even like the guys that they didn't do it against us the other night with Atlanta have. They're guys that shoot the threes. They know they're out there to shoot the threes around Trey and them. So they get the ball, they knocking it down. We have to have that from somewhere, and if Fournier's not going to give it to us, and then if Grimes, when he comes back again, because he's hurt again, is not going to give it to us, where are we going to get it from? RJ's missing threes left and right. He'll make 2 in a row, but then he'll miss 10. So if Fournier don't give it to us and Reddish don't give it to us, then we're not getting it.
And we're not mixing it up. Because like I said, Hartenstein, they throwing the ball in the post. They say he's a great passer. You know what I mean? That leads to backdoor cuts. And, somebody be in trouble in the paint.
Yeah.
We don't even know if he posts up or not.
Well,
it opens up the door for people to be able to shoot. So not only if we get a shooter, I fear that we get a shooter, we can get somebody lights out, and they can't even shoot because all you got to do is guard them because it ain't like they're going to throw it in the paint anyway. They're going to play the same. They're not going to call a play for you.
It's a mindset, though. The shooting part is a mindset. I don't think they necessarily have to post up Hartenstein right now. I just look for him when he's down there.
Not even post up, but just enough for you to be in the post to make a different play, to switch it up. Yeah,
well, I mean, there was twice yesterday where they threw it to him in those scenarios, and he got 2 layups out of it in traffic. But you're right. We're not getting enough of it. We're not getting enough variety all the time from our team. And then something else I was thinking about too.
You're not gonna put a sniper on the front lines. Like, this is what we doing. We're not playing nobody to their strength at all.
At the 3, at the 2 or the 3, it doesn't matter.
That's where it's getting frustrating.
Yeah, but we have to have a guy at any position on our team. There's got to be a guy that sits out there and just shoot. It has to be. That's what loosens up the defense. And all Boston did last night was shoot. The whole team. They just shot threes. Even the kid that came in to play center for them because they didn't have no big men. He just shot threes. So that's where they beat us at last night. Now I guarantee you that was the game plan. I didn't watch the post-game show. But for us, the way that we allowed them to constantly shoot, it was not to let them get inside.
I just be laughing because it killed me. Because when you watch these, when they training in the off season, all they doing is standing there and somebody's passing you the ball and you shooting, or you taking 2 dribbles and you shooting. You can't do that. That's all you really gotta do. Really, Brunson could just do whatever he want to do and kick it out to you. That's what you did in practice all summer long. Y'all didn't do nothing else. That's why I'm laughing. Like, when you even watch the replays.
We can't say they didn't do nothing else.
No, they didn't do nothing else. Because what did they do? Because they ain't showing it in the game. Because you just practice. All they doing. Their instinct is going to tell you this is the move that you did all summer long.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think all we're doing is that we're missing shots. We're missing shots at the rim, and we're missing jumpers.
Yeah, we miss
If we making them shots, now look at the stuff. I reckon in particular that this ain't the year to be scoreboard watching, but you still was in 6 yesterday. If you're looking at it that way, you fluctuate between 5 and 6. But if you're hitting your shots, and not to say other teams are not, you're looking at 3 and 4. If you're just knocking down regular routine shots, I'm not talking about nothing special.
I mean, yeah.
Hit the majority of your open shots.
Yeah, because is it time to panic? Every team don't look all that good.
Nah, it ain't time.
To be truthful, every team don't look that good. I think Lakers just got it together. I don't know if they lost or not.
Look, Milwaukee's 8-0 and maybe 9-0 at this point. And to me, they don't even look all that great. But they 9-0. So.
But everybody record wise, except for Milwaukee, Golden State, everybody else just looks like
Yeah, because we can compete, but you don't have to you can't keep beating yourself. You can't keep doing that. You got to have some sort of an identity, and that's the thing that the other teams got that we don't got. Chicago knows it's going through DeRozan and Levine, and then the other guys feel like even their guys that play. So that's the thing with us is our roles playing a certain way that when guys come to the gym, you can hang your hat on certain things. Because even Obi don't know what he's going to be doing from one play to the next. And we just got to get more consistency because we right there with the pack in the NBA. Just even thinking about getting into the playoffs, just to compete, we're there if we're consistent. And then we also know that we have to get a lot more out of Randall. The passive way Randall play at times, we know that he's the star of the team. We got to get more out of him. But I was thinking about something else, too.
I think passive was good when RJ looked like he was going to get the ball most of the time. But then he's playing passive, too.
Yeah, he's playing passive, too.
Y'all both can't do it.
Yeah, so I was looking at a couple of things in the last 4 games that we had. And I was looking at now the Duke connection with RJ and Reddish. And then I seen when Reddish had it going the other night. And it seemed like every time he had it going, like he was searching out RJ. I guess to get a pound or whatever. It's like he's trying to get himself going. Yeah. So if Reddish is getting himself going, Reddish is starting to become invaluable for this team. And if RJ can get himself, I'm talking about the kind of RJ that started the way he played at the end of the season. If he get himself going with Reddish, that combination, not even though we still got Randall and Brunson, but if those two can get themselves going, look what we could be. I was starting to get real excited when I was watching those clips just roll through because it was like a sequence. It was a sequence of Reddish just going off. And RJ was on the end of some of those passes. This was the other night. So I said, damn, if they get that IQ, and I can't say they had that chemistry in college because, Zion was there. But I said, damn, look how that could lift our team. Because we already know that it's something about IQ, what he's going to do. He's going to get better as the season go on. Derrick Rose is going to get better as the season go on. It ain't through so many minutes. Brunson going to get better as the season go on. But as far as having combinations to work with, that's going to be our pairing right there. That's going to be our pairing that's going to take us to the next level. When RJ get to where he know nobody can't stop him. Because Reddish is coming. Now, I hope Reddish ain't coming at the expense of RJ.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because he's coming. Now, I know they talked about last year possibly they could lose Obi or IQ because we got to pay, their time is coming up. And will we have the money to pay both of them? So that's going to be decision times they're going to have to make too. And now if you feel like you don't need a star, if they progress, and we don't need another star, then you can keep both of them. But something's going to have to give either way around. So when they start realizing
on that, we definitely need a star.
Well, yeah, and when they start realizing, when IQ and Obi start realizing, wait a minute, we playing in a contract year, I don't think it hit him yet. And I think Obi will go anywhere and play. I think he's just playing basketball. He's from New York, but I think he'll play anyway. All right, so before we close it out, let's try to figure out, and y'all can help us with the question, where do we go now as a team? Like, where are the Knicks headed? Granted, we only into 10 games, but where are we going? I had anticipated the way we started. I said, wow, we could end up being something like 18-8. You know, I don't know why I always keep that number in my head when I think we could have a good team. Because that means now you're going to have a nice season. So the next 10, 15 games is going to start telling us where we at. And if we need to make a move, or are our guys really getting better. But I truly believe if we stick to running the basketball as a team, not just a one-man fast break, and then on the half court, guys are going to do what they got to do to set their man up. And if people can move on the weak side and get some underneath movement going, because it takes eyes off the ball, I think we could be a deadly team in this Eastern Conference. And this is even saying when the Nets get better, because they're going to get better. You know, it's just saying when Philly get better, Philly going to get better. But I don't see no threats other than, you know, Philly or maybe the Nets. I'm sorry, Brooklyn or maybe Milwaukee. I don't really see that many East threats that we should have to really contend with if we all playing to our maximum potential. I think the Knicks can have a real good season. It's just frustrating because everything that's happening to us in this short season is self-inflicted. We're doing it. Like, we're turning the ball over. Granted, from the Atlanta game, those were forced turnovers because DeJounte Murray was just on top of it. But everywhere else, we turning the ball over. We missing open shots. You know, we not running or sometimes getting back on defense. Those are self-inflicted things that if we could fix, damn, we're going to be a hell of a team. A real hell of a team. So let me know what y'all think about that. And then this is episode 95.
No, I think we had like 97 or something.
97? Okay, well,
we'll know when you'll see it.
We're slowly approaching our 100th episode, and then we just hope that everybody tunes in on that particular day and celebrate it with us. All right, until next time, peace.
Peace.